Hey everybody, Super Vader 400 here, Mr. Super Vader 400 here, Douglas Blair Roberts, the brown skin human, coming back at you with another series of video rants. And this is my various rants. This is another various rants on pro-blacks, George Floyd, Black Lives Matter, those type of things. Though Black Lives Matter, Me Too, feminist garbage, and multiple other stuff going on, multiple other current and past events. This is a new video intro. This is a new video intro since I've seen them misplace my other ones. I forgot to save and archive it for later. So instead of just going through, I didn't feel like going through my folders to find it. So I decided just to make a brand new intro. Since my dad's wife was here last time and is here this time, I was kind of silent in my previous defund the police rant, and my other Patricia Cullors, Black Lives Matter co-founder, being exposed rant. I was kind of silent. I was kind of speaking softly and silently. You couldn't be as loud, crazy as I want to be because there are other people in this house right now, and I keep trying to remember to do it at night, but I'm always tired from everything I'm doing during the day. So here's another intro, and a much louder and a much better version. And this will be the intro for all future videos. So with that being said, you want to hear the rest of the. With that being said, let's get this party started right now. Let's show these groups. Let's show these groups and these people just what I'm made of.
Let me show you who I am and what I'm here for. Here for. Hey, trying to reach inside of me, trying to take my energy. Let me show you just what I'm made of. You simple curiosity, trying to take a bite of me. Let me show you just what I'm made of now. Like a million faces, I've recognized them all.
Hey everybody, this is a different type of rant because this is a rant combined with a tribute, praise, and salute of a person. Yeah, this is another rant on Afro-American black women, Afro-American women, black and brown based women, black people in general, and the worst type of black people, pro-blacks, and of course niggas. This is also a rant once again on arrogant, violent, tyrannical parents. But this time, this all ties into the person I'm saluting and praising, and you see his name in the title. My boy Tommy Sotomayor, who I discovered in 2016. He was the second person, but he was probably more influential than the first one. The first person I discovered was Dr. DOC, Doctor of Common Sense, who is now on Facebook who is now on Facebook after being terminated from YouTube, who is now on Facebook. Tommy Sotomayor. Tommy Sotomayor, he's the first I'm gonna praise and salute, because he was the wild card. I first discovered Tommy Sotomayor in 2016 with Alton Sterling, when Alton Sterling got killed. And around that same time, a guy went live on Facebook. Tommy Sotomayor covered a story of a guy, an Afro-American, going live on Facebook and being killed by his neighbors, or some people who lived close to where he was. And Tommy Sotomayor used that as an opportunity to talk about how violent, arrogant, and moral Afro-Americans are, and how they're one of the worst races of people of all time, and how he doesn't like being around any black Afro-American. Because of stuff like that. But then I watched more videos of him. And the females were probably my favorites, because the females, for years, we've known how much Afro-American females suck. Not all of them do, but the good majority, good 89% of them suck. You got the first 30%. You got the first 40% who are the scum of the earth, the niggas, the whores, hookers, hoes, hookers, what you call it, the most unladylike, vile people, violent, tyrannical people on earth. Then you got the other groups. Then you got the other 50%. These people are more productive members of society, are generally more successful, but they're fake, they're phony, they're arrogant, they're violent, and tyrannical, and you constantly associate and defend that previous race instead of constantly moving away from them. And they claim to be so pro-black. All they ever do is attack other Afro-Americans like myself, who don't support or don't agree with their ideology, or have an ideology that's different from theirs and doesn't fit their narrative. Then there's last but not least, there's the final 10 to 20%. The first half is the Afro-American you should be, where you like everyone, including the people who don't agree with you. You like and respect everyone, including the people who don't agree with you. Then you have, it's hard to be that one. Then you have my kind, the racist jackass who divides people divides people up into groups, who hates all black people, but still hangs out with some and divides them up into various groups of people. And Tommy Sotomayor, he was saying everything that I initially believed. When it comes to civil rights and whole black versus white, I was taught all of that in school and from my parents. I was not only taught, brainwashed, along with Christianity, which I'm going to tackle them in another video. I was taught all of that nonsense, all of that garbage, and to this day I'm furious, because growing up I never cared about it. First off, up until I was 7 years old, didn't even know what race I was. I called myself, and this is what I call myself now, brown, American, earthling, human, and Afro, and referencing Afro-American, referencing my hair, my hairstyle and texture. But yeah, I didn't even know couldn't even tell the difference between a light-skinned Afro-American and an actual mixed
an actual mixed Caucasian based person. That's couldn't even tell when I was younger. Then here's what I'm mad about. For years, they've impounded the brown versus white mentality, when and shoved other things down our throats. Called like slavery, when it was the African chiefsmen who sold their own people all over the world, and that is how we got here. They tell us some stupid Shao Kahn, Genghis Khan, Frieza, that Thanos, real life Thanos bullshit of villagers ravaging natives, foreigners, white people ravaging African village and stealing and killing and raping and stealing a bunch of people and bringing them here to America, telling us that roots garbage when that's not the case. No, you were sold here. You were sold here. It makes perfect sense now because they never made any sense. How can brown people, they claim to be as brilliant as they are, how can they be so brilliant and then once they get into slavery, they're not brilliant? What, did you forget everything you were taught? Yeah, it's like they brilliant. They were smart, intelligent, and brilliant, but once they got into slavery, they couldn't read, write, or do much of anything. What, did you forget everything? Did you forget everything about yourself up until everything you learned before you entered slavery? Did you did they quote unquote drug you or beat you so hard to the point you got a concussion and couldn't remember anything? No, it was none of that. It was always brown people selling other brown people out, and they never tell you this. They always make it seem like Afro-Americans and brown people all over the world were good people, and they were a little engine they could when they were just as cutthroat and ruthless, sometimes even more so than the other races, of people. And actually, whenever you see a place where it's nothing but brown people, it is the worst, most corrupt place in the world. There are various other races where it's like that, but it's that all the time. You see nothing but brown people. It is the worst and most corrupt place in the world. Then when you get Asian and white races of people, they have, for the most part, they have the most civilized and best societies, best communities, etc. So he was saying all this stuff. I've always thought brown people, especially ones from my generation. Yeah, when it comes to Afro-Americans, most of the kids of today, I actually dig. I actually think they're cool and much more progressive now. But a lot of them are still tied down by the losers from the previous generation. Afro-Americans, I can't stand Afro-Americans from my era, and especially ones born in the 60s and 70s and before those decades, the 60s and 70s. These I absolutely hate, and I wish most of them go away, sit their asses down. They're always hating on this generation, and they're always teaching this generation to be the victimhood losers and racist and hateful people they were growing up. And that's why I totally detest my parents. I hate my parents so much. I refuse to hang out and associate with them. Unless it's business, sports, shopping, in any place I need to be or want to go. If I agree to any hangout or anything, it has to be under my terms. That's how a person is becoming to my parents. And see, part of me makes me mad is I've always believed this, but it took a guy like Sotomayor overcoming my parents' and most of my teachers' brainwashing. I've always thought brown people suck. I used to constantly try When I was 11 and 12 years old in junior high school, I used to constantly try. And used to constantly try and talk trash to Afro Americans who I deemed to be niggas. I never used the word niggas, but I implied that they were niggas. They were less than I was. I called them savages and various monkeys and stuff, and got the living daylights and tried to fight them too. Got the living daylights beat out of me, but yeah, because I couldn't stand what's his name, and then I despised my parents because when I got older, well, since I couldn't beat them, decided to, yes, stay away from them. Continue to do you. Continue to do me. I do that, and that leads to problems with other people. Now, most of my teachers did. Some of my teachers did back me up on this, but my parents did not. My parents did not. My parents completely protected, defended my bullies especially from me. Defended them from me, especially when I retaliated. These people started things, and all I did was retaliate violently. My parents defended these guys as if these were their children, and even worse, ended up them and the school's no tolerance policy forced me to be friends with them because they're gonna bother me. They will bother me, and then I will retaliate, and then both of us will be in trouble. So I just had to take their I just had to man up and just take it. I had to man up and take it. Take their insults, take their bullying and stuff. One guy even asked me, "Dog, why you letting them get on you, man?" Because I was so afraid of punishment, and I was so afraid of disappointing. At that time, I'm mad about this because I promised to stop doing this when I got to high school. I was mad about actually disappointing my parents, and I'm mad I lived all those years. I lived my life based on their rules, based on their rules and expectations, and I absolutely hate and despise them. My parents now, with every fiber of my being. When I watch the white sitcoms, especially the sitcoms of today, and I see how together those families are, how together those families are. I wish I could have that, but I can't. Brown people just can't have that, man. But that's what I loved about Sotomayor, and I'm mad I discovered him so late in my life. I discovered him in my mid-20s when all of the high school, all of that terrible stuff was over. I wish I would have had him back then. Because he told everything, he exposed everything. Let's start off with the women. Like I said, the women, he exposed everything for how loud, arrogant, violent, fake and phony, and tyrannical they were. These women, the black women, they're the worst of the female races because, first off, they be the ugliest. They're not ugliest, but they're not really all that appealing. They're not ugly, but they're not all that appealing. And some of them are even weird looking. And they walk around like they're the man, strutting like they're the man. They're the shit. They're not the shit. They look like shit, but they're not the shit. But they walk around strutting. And then worse, what's even worse, some of these have the audacity to be pro-blacks. They have the audacity to be pro-blacks, yet they're wearing makeup. And cosmetics. And even worse, they're wearing weaves. And the weaves that's the biggest scam in the world. They walk around scamming people. Then they get mad when certain Afro-Americans, like myself, approach them. Yet they dress, they wear clothes, they dress, or worse, they wear wigs, they wear weaves, cosmetics, and makeup. When without that stuff, no one will ever notice you. If you want people to stop harassing you or trying to holler at you, take off the what you call it. And I guarantee you no one, unless it's some lame Napoleon Dynamite, Peter Parker, Corey Matthews, simp type of guy. tip simp type of white guy, no one, or some Steve Urkel simp type of guy, no one would notice you. No one would care. And even those four I need to name, they were rejected when they realized they have more. When they realized they have more, they have better standards. They have better standards than you are. Better standards than you, which is what Sotomayor brought back. He said all the stuff men were afraid to say about women, and the truth about the women, which everyone knows, but for some reason it was always a hush hush thing. I've always heard about the weave. I've always heard about the weave and stuff, but I just never believed it was true. But I always have heard about it. I always heard about it, and I used to believe when I was younger, these females, they would come to school the next day. They would come to school the next day with one hairstyle, one regular short hairstyle. Then the next day, they would have like rock star Asian. They would have rock star Asian European hair. And I'm like, and I believed it too. Believe their hair grows that way overnight. When that hair grows overnight. Then the makeup was even worse. This is a more recent thing. I remember going to school with some of these people, and these people did not have all of this makeup, all of these cosmetics when I was in school. However, several years later, they have bleached skin. They have bleached skin and clear skin, even though they're supposed to be older. But they didn't have that when they were younger. Like, what sorcery is this? Oh, it's makeup, cosmetics. Makeup's cosmetics. And then some of them were either hideous or just not really approachable without it. Women now be so fake that I demand to see their natural short hair and their natural skin. They have to be naturally beautiful without the enhancements of cosmetics. Because I'm sick of seeing it nowadays. Now that I know it's fake, the cosmetic is just so nasty. It's just so nasty, fake, and phony. It's even worse than the natural beautiful person nowadays. And that's why I'm mad about it. All women of all races do this, but I see it the most with Afro Americans. None of the white or Asian women I've known ever did. Now, I like Haitian women. Yeah, Haitian and Canadian women are my favorite type of brown women, followed by Europeans from other countries. They have natural beauty and can pull it off better than a stupid American. So they can pull off some of these fake looks. These fake looks. But and Sotomayor was exposing them, and I loved him. He was dogging them too. He dogged them so hard. Sotomayor was just like me, only he gets paid to. He's a YouTube and radio personality. A guy doing radio shows and a guy doing YouTube videos. Only he gets paid to. I hope to in the future when my channel gets that high. But it'll probably take another 5 years. It'll probably take another 4 to 5 years for that to happen. Yeah, I hope I get that high. And he's my inspiration for becoming a different type of YouTube personality. I was already a YouTube personality before Sotomayor, but I became a bigger one. But I decided to change my views. At first it was just various media and entertainment reviews, sports, comic books, video games, movies, boxing, MMA, kickboxing, martial arts, and all of that, etc. And now music, which I've been trying to add for a while, music. But Sotomayor inspired me to tackle past and current, rant on past and current events, and various other political based rants and videos, etc. Inspired me to change up my style. Yeah, the greatest of all, Tommy Sotomayor, greatest of all time. And I like how he was laying into these women. Like I said, he was a YouTube and radio personality, and Ebony magazine, he managed to get attention from them, where he hurt them so bad that they tried everything in their power to 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 bury Tommy Sotomayor and have him removed from YouTube and social media platforms. They've succeeded a little, but they could never permanently put him down. But he's not as powerful as he used to be. He was hugely powerful when I got here back in 2016 and 17, and since 2018, since late 2017 and 18, he's been struggling ever since, making channel after channel, constantly deleting, privating videos of his getting flagged and stuff. It's just they have to keep making channels and stuff. And I think he can't access GoFundMe. He can't access GoFundMe. And yeah, he even briefly tried to go to a website, but was forced to come back here to YouTube. And this guy, even in one video said he got attention from 50 Cent, who 50 Cent said he didn't like the way Sotomayor was talking about women. Now 50 Cent is repeating everything Sotomayor said that day. Then you had who else? So yeah, then he has the other series, the 101 with Sotomayor, where I don't know why he wastes his time, but where he has people on here to debate about various topics, and it always usually ends with the two cursing each other out, and Sotomayor ends up blocking them. Why does he try to reason with them? Why does he just waste time with them? But that goes to show you he can out debate and defeat anyone, and then people just wish terrible things on him. They wish terrible things on his daughter. They wish he would die and stuff. And man, this guy, a guy who just doesn't give a fuck, a guy who is savage. These are the type of people who I want to be. Who I want to be, and I now practice trying to make myself as cruel and brutal as Tommy Sotomayor. Speaking of brutal, then is brutal when his fat shaming video, which all of these get taken, and every time he talks about fat women, yeah, I'm sick of fat women, especially black women, because number one, fat black women, they think you should like and accept their fat ass. Then some of them, especially my dad's wife, is the biggest culprit. They have the audacity to make jokes about other women and talk about other people like myself. But I respond against them. Oh, I'm in the wrong. I can't stand fat women, especially the loud ghetto ratchet, fake phony pro-black kind, which is what my dad's newest wife is a mixture of. There's a mixture of getting on everything about them. They're big, they're unattractive, unappealing. They're unattractive, unappealing. And some of these, they're even worse. They have the audacity to be putting makeup and wigs. They have to be putting makeup and weaves on. They look even worse than the average size women who do that. They look even worse. That might be, and that race has no choice but to go with natural. But then they be expecting to accept their fat ass, yet a fat ass man, who I have more respect for, a fat ass man or a fat person of any race, a fat male of any race, turns their fat into a positive. They turn their fat into a positive. They deal with the fat. They deal with the fact that they're fat and turn it into a positive. And don't let them stop them from creating their dreams. Stop them from creating their dreams. Yeah. But it's the fat women man, you respect their fat ass, man. Yeah. And the other things about them. So yeah, like going back to saying, they're unattractive, they're unappealing. They wear way too much perfume, man. They smell bo. So but yeah, they talk about other people. You're a quiet, big woman, and you don't bother people. I would never talk trash to you. I won't even talk trash to the others unless they came at me first. The ones I'm talking about, the race I'm talking about. But yeah, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about those. And I wish most women who watch Tommy Sotomayor's videos understand it. If you're not this loud, ghetto, ratchet, violent, tyrannical woman, always doing bad things, always fucking with people, and people retaliate, and you cry, and can't handle it, yeah, if you're not doing all that, then we're not talking about you. But if you have people, if you know people, and if you're doing that, then yeah, be offended. Not only be offended, do something about it. Do something about it and change. Do something about it and change. Then I'm sick of his haters saying stuff like, "Oh, why don't you talk about white women like white people like that?" Why? First off, he doesn't live with white people. He doesn't live with white people. Fortunately, he lives with you guys. He lives with you guys for most of his life. White people have done more for him than the so-called pro-Afro-Americans who constantly make jokes about his misfortunes and mishaps in life, such as him being in prison. They make jokes about him being in prison. Yet, according to him, it was a white person who got him out of prison. So why would he be mean to the white people? And I'm in a similar situation. I've had my issues with white people, a lot of them, especially online. Actually, online is pretty much the only really place you actually had an issues with where you have mostly my issues with white people. So yeah, going back to he doesn't live with what you call it, and most of his anger and rage was created by you. It was the brown people who did something to him. So why would he go after what you call it? Let the white people deal with them, and that's where his white fans come from, because his white fans see that, his white and other race fans see that, and they're like, oh, we're dealing with that in our communities, we're dealing with that in our race, and that's why, and that's how they become fans of his. Most of his fans are other Afro-Americans like myself who've encountered similar problems. And yeah, see, when it comes to pro-blacks and niggas, they like it when other races respect, fear, and pointing out their and kissing their ass and pointing out all the great things they do. They hate it when you bring up the crime rate, and I agree with them. If you're so pro-black, I stopped bringing it up in discussions because it wasn't important. It wasn't going to get through to the pro-blacks' head. But if you care so much about pro-blacks, you would be here all the time when these gangs line up and decide to kill us, not just when white people kill each other, and asking other so-called coons, Uncle Toms, whatever racist term you want to use, asking us conservatives to care about Black Lives Matter, when a black and brown life means less to a black and brown person. You kill each other, you kill, injure, and do bad things to each other over the most trivial things. Other races do it too. They don't see them tearing down. Yeah, the other thing exposure. This incident right here is where this incident forever shows you the difference between you and other races. You set up over criminals. Floyd, Freddie Gray, Mike Brown, Eric Garner, and Latasha Harlins of '92, riots of '92. You set up there, tore down cities, tore down buildings, tore down cities, tore down buildings, ruined other people's lives, including people who had nothing to do with the murders. Ruined other people's lives, looted stores and stuff. looted stores and stuff in the name of what you guys call justice, injured and killed a lot of people, which resulted in the death of a lot of people, and you have the audacity to call that justice. That's the difference between you and any other race. When another race is victimized, they never do it. They never carry on or do anything like that. They're not going to destroy their own community. They're not going to destroy their own community. Then you guys complain about you don't have stuff. Yeah, you're burning down stuff. You're burning down stuff. Here, you complain about you don't have stuff compared to the other races. Like I said, you're the biggest joke of races around. You're the Tommy Sotomayor said in another video, you're the Cleveland Brown of races, man. I'm embarrassed to be the same skin color as you. I'll never be proud of the brown skin. I'm proud to be Douglas. Proud to be Douglas Blair Roberts. And all of my brown heroes I consider coons, sellouts, Uncle Toms, and disgraces to the brown people community. I like people like MC Hammer, Lil Wayne, Charles Barkley, Dennis Rodman, and so many more that would be considered disgraces. I have more in common with people from other races, races than I do actual Afro-Americans. That's why I like Tommy Sotomayor. I'm just mad that I discovered him so late, and it took him and several others like him to reignite the fire. Reignite the fire, remind me of my hatred of Afro-Americans and say everything, because it was after Baltimore where I had enough. That's why I forever disowned the Afro-Americans, after that Baltimore riot bullshit. And then you get the George Floyd one just last year, which was even worse. That's why I disowned, and I couldn't be the one who felt that way, and I wasn't. I saw a bunch who felt the way I did after that debauchery. And then white people, I'm neutral towards white people. They've earned the warrior's respect. They've earned the right to be my peer, my boss, and my superior on a job. I'd much rather be the guy who takes orders and usually a white guy or some other foreigner, some other foreign person above me, for then having another Afro-American above me. They've earned the right to be our superiors, and I usually always take their side because I feel we need them more than we need these lame pro-blacks, and even worse, the niggas, the worst. So yeah, but my issues with white people are, unless there's some kind of combatant, super athlete, strong working class person, man or woman, or what was the last one? Some kind of musician, some kind of tough like musician, some kind of cool punk rocker, rock and roll guy, which I'm into. They're usually weak. They're usually weak in my opinion. Afro-Americans, they exploit this. They know they can easily intimidate them. Or if they are strong, they know they can make them feel bad with the victimhood of stuff that happened yesteryear. The stuff that happened thousands of years ago, hundreds of thousands of years ago, that no one alive has anything to do with. And then, this is another reason I hate Afro-Americans when it comes to the actual racist, white people who own slaves. They never ever go up to them. They go after an innocent white person. They go after a weak, innocent white person and beat him down, beat him or her down. A white person they've never had anything to do with. And do terrible things to him or her. They never go after anyone strong, tough, or who's actually what's called. Then they say stuff like Zimmerman when he killed Trayvon Martin. One thing I'm sick of. why is people like Zimmerman still alive after what he did? And like, he's alive because first off, he was in the right. When you really look at it, he was in the right. We look at it. Number two, he was in the right. It was self-defense. Number two, you guys, without your guns, without your crew, you guys and your knives, your machetes, your shanks, you are nothing. 101, mano a mano, you are nothing. And you don't even go up to these people who you so-called hate. Who you so-called hate. Yeah, some of you even kiss their ass when you get in front of them. Yeah, so stop the tough guy act, man. Yeah. Without your crew, knives, shanks, machetes, and guns, you ain't shit. So yeah, that's why I like same with Sotomayor, which is another thing. And he's brave. He's everywhere. He be in these hoods. He be in these cities. I wouldn't step foot in any of these cities and places without increased security, man. Increase security, man. I wouldn't step foot in several of these places. Sotomayor, he's brave. He goes all over the place. And so far only one, some guy walked up to him and punched him in the mouth and ran off. And none of them come up to him. The only other people to roll up was his rival, pro-black Tariq Nasheed. But Tariq Nasheed came there because he knew Sotomayor wasn't going to do anything. He knew Sotomayor wasn't going to do anything. Sotomayor's not a street guy. Not a street guy. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So this has been my salute of Tommy Sotomayor. Jesse Lee Peterson is coming next, and as always, yeah, you have a problem with what I just said. Feel free to come and do something about it. Because, as always, I am the one you call when you need your ass kicked. Your parents didn't kick your ass. Your parents and forefathers didn't kick your ass when you were a child. I will kick your ass. I will correct that wrong. I will kick your ass. Douglas Blair Roberts, the brown skin human, the Super Vader 400, the Equalizer. I will kick your ass. I will rearrange your jaw. I will back down from no one. Don't care how big, strong, tough, or what you are. Well, you don't want to hear the rest of the music. Turn the video off right now.